Welcome to the very first episode of the Let's Chat podcast, y'all. I am your host, Jojo, and I am accompanied by...
Dayra.
Ooh. It's our very first time, obviously, video recording and recording a podcast. Mm-hmm. So y'all gonna have to work with us if you're listening and tuning in. This is about as most, real and authentic as it's gonna get. So if I fuck up or we fuck up, because it's bound to happen, listen, YOLO and God bless.
Yes, but give us a chance. Keep listening. We're going to have some friends join our podcast, friends who are married, friends who have children. And we also felt like we needed more representation on the East Coast. We're from New Jersey, and we see a bunch of, influencers and content creators who are part of the community. However, they're just so far away, usually on the West Coast. So, we decided to go ahead and get started with the podcast, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You have anything else to add?
Yeah, I wanted to start a podcast for the longest time. Mostly it was because for me, I wanted a platform that I had where I could just talk and express myself. So I like to get people's perspective based upon their experience and shit, because we all experience the same things that we can relate to, but most importantly, we all have different point of views. There's always a different side to a story, and I feel like one of the most important things for me throughout my life experiences is gaining other people's perspective.
And I'm joining her on this journey of starting the podcast. This was on her 2022 list, and we're just trying to get our goals going. We have a bunch of stuff that we wanted to do, and we were like, you know what? Let's just do it. You really just need to start recording yourself. Get the camera, get the mic, and that's what we're doing right here.
Get into it.
So yeah, we're gonna be talking about many different topics, and we're gonna start off with our background, where we come from, and maybe like our coming out story.
Yes, you can't have the LGBTQ plus. That's a mouthful. Podcast without a good old fashioned coming out story. So, sit back, wait on that before we give you all the juice, just to get a little background and get to know us a little bit. Once again, I am Jojo. Hi, hey.
Hello.
I am from New Jersey. I grew up obviously in a Spanish household. I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm the only girl out of 4 boys. Wonder why I'm gay. Anyway, my parents were together for I don't know, a good couple years, and then they split up about like my 8th grade freshman year of high school. They're still around. I don't have any problems. I'm still good with my dad. Absolutely. My mom is my world, so ain't shit gonna change that. But that's me.
And I'm Dayra. So I'm also from Jersey. I'm from North Jersey, now living in South Jersey. I lived in Jersey all my life, really. I actually was born in Puerto Rico, grew up in the Dominican Republic, and then...
island girl.
Then I came to the U.S. not knowing any English at all. So that's why you hear a little bit of an accent. And it's just never going to leave at this point. It is what it is.
Yo, listen to this. Say vibe.
Vibe. What?
She says vibe. Like, it's not with a B. She says it was with a V. Vibe. She says vibe.
Vibe.
I can't. I forget the other word. There's another word she says kind of crazy, but I be getting on her about it because it's just so funny.
I don't know what she's saying.
You the one who said you had an accent, and that just goes to show.
I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. So I come from a Latinx household. Dominican, Puerto Rican, like I said. My mom's Dominican, my dad's Puerto Rican.
Whole lot of Spanish.
Yeah, I would say I'm more connected with the Dominican side because of my mother. But I mean, I still keep in touch with my Puerto Rican family over there. So that's that. I did get to live in Florida for a little bit, in Miami, which was very, very fun. However, I had to leave for personal reasons. Like everyone does. People go to Florida, then they come back, and then they go to Florida again, and they come back. And now we're here.
All right, so we're going to get into our, all the juicy shit. So to start this episode, obviously, like I said, you got to have a coming out story. So I'm going to let you go first.
Oh, wow.
Get into it.
Okay, so I didn't come out till later in life, and by later in life, I'm talking about like 25. I'm
How old are you now?
26. So just in the last year while I was dating her. And I was honestly so scared to come out. Like, you know, my friends knew, but like my mom didn't know. Like my sisters knew and stuff like that. And I'm a punk, so I didn't do it in person. I actually sent them a text message. It was a very long text message, and I was like, so I'm gay. I don't know how you guys didn't realize it, but
Who didn't realize it? Your family?
yeah, like my parents. Because it's like growing up, I never really had boyfriends come around. Like I had one that they met, and I was like 18 years old at the time.
I feel
And
like
that was it.
I feel like, not to cut you off, but I feel like, you know, as a female, your family don't suspect, oh, you're gay.
Or especially
you
if
haven't
you're
brought
femme.
you haven't brought a guy around.
Yeah.
You know, like that's just like, all right, good. Like she waiting. You know, they're never in a rush, especially like Spanish parents. Like they're never in a rush for you to start dating and getting into, you know, the whole liking boys thing as a girl. But I do think like from when it's boys, like they expect boys to have girls around, and when they don't, they start to wonder like, oh man, I haven't seen him with a girl, he ain't mentioned a girl, he hasn't brought a girl around, like is he gay? So I feel like they always worry about the boys, but I've never seen anybody worry about like, oh, like you ain't bring a boy around, like what's going on, you gay? I think it's more so like, you know, they just think you're kind of caught up in your own shit.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they just felt like I was just very studious, which I was, but it's like I'm literally 25 years old. Like I already got my bachelor's and my master's. Like I'm not studying anymore.
Yeah, but look how long it took you to find out. You think that they were gonna know?
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I mean, their reaction was actually very positive, and I'm very blessed to say that because I know for a lot of people that's not the case. So they were very, very welcoming. They were just upset that it's something that I had to keep a secret for so long. So yeah, there was a lot of emotions, and I kind of came out and I was like, yeah, and I'm moving in with my girlfriend, so this is it. Like I was already living on my own. I was living on my own since I was like, after I left college, I never came back.
She was dropping big girl loads on them. Like, big girl loads.
Yeah.
Like, not only am I gay, but I got a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Not only do I have a girlfriend, but I'm moving in with my girlfriend who
Yeah.
happens to live an
Like
hour and a
2
half
hours,
away
yeah.
from where we live. Like,
Yeah.
I said, oh, shit.
Yeah, I know. It was a lot, but like, I feel like they were so used to me doing stuff like that, though. Like, when I moved to Miami when I was 21 and I left for like a year. So it's like I do these things and then I tell them, like, this is what I'm doing. I know a lot of people like to get like their parents' approval, but I'm just like, I'm gonna do it and then I'm gonna tell you that I did it. And this goes with like tattoos too. But yeah, I am very blessed to say my experience was very positive. And yeah, I mean, there's still some people that I have to come out to, but it's a big family, man. It's a big Latinx family, and like I just need like time to just.
I feel like once you tell your parents, nothing else matters.
Yeah, I know, but I have.
I know.
Parents.
I know. Like, once I told my parents, it was a wrap. Like, everybody else didn't matter. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't care.
Right.
But, like, did your friends, when you told your friends, did they kind of already, like, suspected, or were they surprised?
Yeah, no, I feel like, it wasn't, like, a complete shock. It was kind of like, I literally just brought it up as if I was bringing up any guy. I'm like, yeah, so this girl, blah, blah, blah. And it was, like, literally, like, a total normal conversation. There was no coming out. It was just, like, me bringing up a person that I was basically dating. Mm-hmm. And that was it. And, I mean, if they were shocked, that's on them. But I don't talk to a lot of friends anymore. As you grow older, your circle gets smaller. And it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But yeah, I have two close friends, and one of them is gay themselves, and they're married. And
shout out to Steve.
Yeah, they weren't that shocked.
And Matt. They
weren't that shocked, honestly. They were very, very happy for me. So So yeah.
I feel like, well, like for you, because of the way that you were, she's like a very, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just, she's a tough cookie. Yeah. So I feel like for her friends to like know how she was, you know, she always tells me how she was just like really hard and like hard to deal with when it came to her dating guys. Like they had to, you know, be a certain way, be about their shit, couldn't be like, she was very picky when it came to that. So I feel like that could have maybe gave a sense like, oh, well, that explains why you're so like this with men. But I think it still kind of would have been a shock because, you know, some people just think, you know, you're just being that hard ass girl.
Yeah, I honestly gave these dudes like a very hard time, and like I was not your typical girl. Like when my friends would cry to me about guys, I would be like, "Girl, fuck you crying for? Like who is this? And
next,
why? Nobody." Like moving on. Like I was never pressed over a dude. Never pressed over a dude. Like very rare for me to say that. And I have very high expectations for them, like super high expectations, because I feel like you need to bring to the table what I bring to the table, and I bring a lot to the table. So what are you giving me? What are you giving me? So that, I mean, that's a subject for another day, but if you're watching this and we dated, I'm sorry. It is what it is.
Yeah, she out and she proud now, y'all. That's it.
What about you?
Man, let me take y'all back, man, on my J. Cole shit. So for me, I kind of knew by the age of like 13, 14, I was about in 8th grade. I started to like find females attractive, and I thought that was weird. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, she's cute. Like, I wish I was that cute. It was like, oh my God, she's popping. Like, I want parts. So, you know, I kind of had to suppress that a little bit because I didn't know that it was a thing. It wasn't a familiar feeling to me. So in the time, you know, I started meeting other females. I made friends with other females who actually happened to be going through the same thing. And once, like, I knew that it was a thing, like liking girls was a thing, it was like a wrap for me. Like, I was in there like swimwear. So the whole like dating boys and that, like, that shit was out the window. Freshman year, I really like, you know, you get in high school and the environment changes. Yeah. It's more people, it's more diverse. That's like your experimental period. So that was my experimental period. So I was around more girls, and I played sports. I played basketball and softball. So
typical.
Right. That's like, what? It's raining honeys. Yeah. So it definitely grew a lot more for me. Like, it was like, all right, I definitely like females. I'm attracted to them physically, emotionally. Like, I enjoy being around them. I enjoy the company. Like, I literally get feelings out of this world. But yeah, about senior year, I started to like, I was like, all right, I'm a little grown now. Like, I'm 18. Let me see what it's like to actually, like, let's see what the physical parts of it is like. So I started getting into my first sexual encounters, and I think like that shit sealed the deal. I was like, oh, that was crazy. Like,
interesting.
That was, I could do this. I could do this all the time. Like, that shit's a different type of, that's a different type of hype. So I think then I knew for sure. Like, I had already known, but it was like, all right, by that time, everybody knew. Like, my friends knew. It wasn't even like I had to come out. It was just like, yo, I'm talking to this girl. Like you said, like, I'm talking to this girl. This what's up. And it was like, oh, all right. Which nobody was surprised because I was out here talking to bitches. And I had told my dad and my brothers, like, my sophomore year, around the time where I was still trying to figure out, like, if I was on that wave. And I had told them, I was like, yo, you know, I kind of think I like girls. You know, like, that's where I'm at right now. And at first they were like, what? Like, what the fuck? Like, what you mean you into girls? And, like, I was like, I said what I said. Like, I'm into girls. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Which I didn't care because I wasn't pressed about their opinion. Like, at the end of the day, I knew my dad loved me. And regardless, he was going to love me. I knew, like, my brothers, like, they're not that opinionated. It is what it is. They're kind of like, I don't care as long as, you're happy. But I just never told my mom. So my mom didn't know for the longest time. My mom actually didn't know up until, like, the last 2 years. I'm 27, probably. I was probably, like, 26 before she knew.
I'm shocked that you waited that long to tell her.
Nah.
Because your mom is, like, super cool. Like, I feel like your mom's very hip. She's not judgmental. Like, you guys are very close. Like,
that's my baby.
She is not like my mom.
Nah, because I was scared. I don't know, like not saying that my dad's opinion doesn't matter. I love my dad to death. Obviously he matters, but I feel like at the end of the day, maybe it's just me knowing that I'm the only girl. I know that he's gonna love me regardless.
Yeah.
Whether he agrees with it or not, like that man loves me. So I was never worried about telling him. And I know my mom loves me to death. That was never a question about it. It was just a sense of I didn't like the idea of disappointing her. So I felt like I don't know how she's going to take that. And I just don't want the beef. So I didn't tell her for years. And I actually had a girlfriend for about 4 years, from about 18 to 20. I was probably like 21, 22 when we broke up. And that whole time, she didn't officially know that was my girlfriend.
This is a long time.
Yeah, it was. Everybody in the family knew. All my friends knew. My mom was just the only one I never sat there and came out to. But I was always getting outed. My brothers and some of my family members were outing the shit out of me to my mom. Excuse me. But she didn't really give into it. Like, she didn't, not that she was like, what's the word? Like, not
denial?
Yeah. She was just the type of person that she needed the facts. So if I didn't come and tell her, then she's not going to take somebody's word for it.
Yeah.
She was like that when her brother came out gay. For the longest time, there were people telling her, your brother's going to be gay, your brother's going to be gay. And then he actually ended up coming out to be gay. And for the longest time, she was just like, no, he's not, he's just a kid, like, whatever. Well, he came out gay, and it was what it was. At the end of the day, she was just like, that's my brother, I love you, that's not, that's your sin, that's not mine, do what you do.
Yeah.
And then when my best friend came out, she didn't know. Like, my mom's gaydar was off.
Yeah.
Off. Because when my best friend came out, she was like, oh my God, but like, she's so pretty. Yeah. My best friend, literally, we were, at the time, that's why I call her twin. At the time, we looked like how I look right now, like curly hair, long, whatever. My mom loves her till this day. Like, that's her extended child. Like, that's her child. You can't tell her nothing.
Yeah.
You would think that she birthed her. So when she came out years ago, my mom was so surprised. She was like, oh my God, I can't believe, like, you're gay. Like, you're so pretty, da-da-da. And I was like, Mom, that means nothing. Like,
right.
I
don't know why being pretty has anything to do with being gay.
Yeah, it's just,
they always say that.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Like,
yeah, what's the correlation?
So when my mom found that out, like, she wasn't like, whatever about it. Again, she was still very open and comforting and accepting of my best friend. Like, that's my daughter, she's beautiful, blah blah blah. Like, she loves twin. So me knowing that, I was like, all right, cool, like, maybe she'll be fine with it, if I actually tell her. But at the same time, I had a thought in my head that was like, those are other people's situations. Like, it's easier to accept other people who aren't your children.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, your brother, cool, that's your sibling. Yes, your daughter's friend that you consider your own, okay. But I felt like being, it actually being your child, it can get a little different. Because I've seen it. I've seen people be like, you know, oh, all right, you know, that's their prerogative, but it couldn't be my child.
Right.
So I didn't tell my mom till years later, like, even after, like, that whole relationship. I suspected that she knew. And I kind of always waited for her to come to me and tell me, like, so what's going on? Is that your girlfriend? Is that not your girlfriend? Do you like girls? Do you not like girls?
Yeah.
You know, this has been brought to my attention. Like, she never came to me and was like, this is what's up. Yeah. So, you know, to me, I just never said anything. I was just like, all right, it's kind of like what's the thing? Don't ask, don't tell. So, I took that for the longest time. And then when I became old enough, you know, after that relationship, I was just like, I'm fucking 22 years old. Like, what am I going to tell her for? Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm going to do what I do. Yeah. I don't have to tell her, like, I'm grown, who I'm fucking with is who I'm fucking with. And, you know, maybe one day when I feel like I'm legitimately serious, I'll do it. Yeah. But I didn't feel obligated to do it. And then eventually I did it because I was like, all right, fuck it. Like, I'm grown. Like, it is what it is. I know that she knows. But also because I was outed again by my friend's girlfriend. I'm always being outed. So that's why I was like, all right, listen, like, I'm fucking at this point 25 years old or 26, whatever I was at the time. And I was like, yes, I like girls. I do kind of feel bad, however, waiting so long to tell my mom, only because that is my best friend. I tell her everything. But I'm very grateful for my family and my parents for being accepting. That was pretty much my coming out situation.
But how did you keep your 4-year relationship like a secret? Like, what was going on with the PDA and stuff?
It wasn't. It was hard for a little bit because
happening.
No, yeah, like, so it was funny because the girl had told her family ASAP No Rocky.
Oh yeah.
Mind you, I was just trying to gain experience. I'm 18. I'm ready to do this whole, you know, sexual, physical thing, you know. I'm grown. I'm senior. I'm finna be out in the real world. Like, I need to get to it. So that situation was really supposed to be my experience. And I was just willing to be her experiment. That didn't happen. And she told me, she was like, I told my family, da-da-da. And I was like, baffled because I was like, girl, I've been talking to females for like the last 4 or 5 years of my life. Yeah. Hanging out with them, you know. I've had a couple makeout sessions, you know. Like, I've been doing this for a couple years and I still have not yet come out to my mom. So I was like, fuck. I couldn't give the same respect because I was like, yeah, like, I still don't know, like, what our situation is. I don't want to come out to my mom yet, so I didn't. And for whatever reason, again, I guess I never told my mom because I suspected that she knew. Like, what more facts do you need? What more proof? Yeah, there you go. What more proof did you need? Yeah.
She needs to see y'all kissing.
I think she might have seen a couple times because there was a couple times I think she may have been around.
Oh, she knew already, like, what?
Or at least I think, but I wouldn't do it in front of her. At the time, like, the girl was like, she was so open about me and her, and I was still not comfortable with being so much open because, again, it was still just very new to me. So it wasn't even just like, it was just, I wasn't comfortable with PDA, period, because I hadn't experienced that. Yeah. So getting comfortable with that alone was an issue. So
a physical touch was her love.
Yeah. So I would get bitch for that all the time. And then, which is crazy because I'm so all over her.
Now that's her physical, her love language is now physical touch.
Yeah. But anyway, that's besides the point. So I felt like my mom kind of knew but didn't, and I just didn't want to tell her again because I was like, all right, if that's not enough proof, then, and I always thought like maybe she'll come and ask me about it and then we'll have the conversation. But I was just too scared to openly just say it and tell her.
So I mean, it's a scary thing. It's very scary because you never know how anyone will react, you know.
Exactly. So that shit was like, oh man. But the girl was definitely upset. Like, are you ever going to tell her? Like, what's going on?
Oh, yeah.
But like, you're grown.
Yeah, but something about that, it's like you can't rush your partner to come out. Like if you're dating someone and they haven't came out yet, like you can't rush them. Like luckily, all the people that I've dated were very cool about that and lax and not rushing. But it's like they're gonna come out at their time. Mm-hmm. They're not gonna come out just because you want them to come out. Mm-hmm. You know, and like I know there's a lot of people who are trying to come out and they're like, you know, in high school and stuff, still living with your parents. So it's like, I wouldn't recommend coming out until you have like a safe space. Because like I said, you never know how people will react. So if you have like a family member or like some friends that you can stay with, if they do react negatively, I would definitely recommend that. But it is very scary. Very, very scary.
Listen, if you know, you know. Mm-hmm. If those puzzle pieces start coming together where you're like, all right, you know, this is where I'm leaning to, mm-hmm. this is where I feel comfortable with, you know, with anything from, you know, your gender identity or, you know, your sexual preference and, mm-hmm. you know, all that. Take your time and get to know that. Mm-hmm. Get to know yourself and experience what it is like, okay. Yeah. Because I feel like when you don't know, when you don't experience the things, you kind of put yourself out there before, you know, trying it and seeing what it is that, so you don't really know, like, I feel like you fabricate an idea of what it should be like and what you should feel. And then when you actually finally do it, it's not at all what you expected it to be. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of like throws you back, you know, like you got to take a couple steps back, like, whoa, like all this hype and all this, I put myself out here like this and I don't even like how this feels. Yeah. So, you know, I think that's also why it took me that long. I don't like labels. I think that it's for people to feel comfortable with you know, about mm-hmm. you know, who you identify as and who you are. And mm-hmm. that I don't care about other people. So that mm-hmm. was just like I just didn't like that. Yeah. And
it could get very confusing because it's like sometimes you come out as bisexual and then like a couple months later or a couple years later, you're like, I'm actually not bisexual. Like, I'm either gay or I'm either lesbian. And then people are confused. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, weren't you bisexual? Or now you're like lesbian. Yeah. It's like, it's just like a very complicated situation. So I like to use the word queer or gay.
I feel like people are quick to throw in your face how, oh, you was this and now you're this. Like, make up your mind. Like,
it's like,
even within the community, we kind of do it. Like, you know, I don't like to do it, but like even within the community, there are people who be like, oh, like, you know, you're straight now, weren't you just gay? Or, oh, you're bisexual now, weren't you like a full blown lesbian? Like, what's going on? Like,
they're just confused.
But we're so quick to accept the straight girls, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's cool. Like, let's accept the straight girls. They're, you know, we already knew that they were straight. We already knew that they liked penis, but you know, that's their free pass, you know. Right. After us, if they go back to guys, it is what it is. Like, come on, y'all. Like,
right. Yeah, that's a topic.
Bullshit. I call bullshit.
I don't know why y'all keep chasing these straight girls.
That's a conversation for another day.
But I feel like back to the whole coming out thing, like now it seems like it's like easier to come out. Maybe it's just me who realizes it, but I've realized like on social media that like people are coming out more, and I think maybe it's because it's something that's more accepted now. But back in the day, like when I was in high school, it was just like not accepted. Like I feel like people kind of looked at you weird if you were like gay, and now it's like, oh, you're gay. Like it's kind of like a trend. I don't know. But it's become so much easier and just so much accepting. So, I feel like we're just getting better as a society at just accepting, the LGBTQ plus community. Yeah. They're just a little confused about it, especially with the pronouns and stuff.
It's a lot more going on now. Which, I mean, good for society finally getting the shits together and catching up. It's a work in progress. Mm-hmm. So that's our coming out story. I want to thank the potential listeners or whoever is listening, the future listeners who are bound to come. You know, if you liked it, I can't talk. If you did like this podcast, you know, show some love. Any love, any support is better than none, right? Right. We still gonna do the shit whether you show love or any support.
It's all about consistency, really.
Right.
We're gonna start off by posting like on Instagram and TikTok, and then we want to obviously launch on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts,
yes,
and YouTube. But it's just so many platforms that we're just trying to take it day by day.
Yeah.
Because damn, so many platforms.
Take
now that I'm thinking about it, Jesus Christ,
there's no need to rush. It's like learning. Oh, you're killing me. You're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls. Nah, but yeah, so we're a work in progress. So DM us on Instagram. If there's anything that you want to talk about specifically, we're here and we'll respond.
Any questions or any suggestions about what you want to hear?
Shit, maybe y'all teach us some shit. We're sitting here talking, but we want some perspective and shit too. So,
right.
Share the feedback. Mm-hmm. So that about sums up. That's our very first episode. It's been real. Deuce, mother goose.
Peace.